hit the button. Don't hit the button.
What is up, everybody? This is hashtag follow the conversation, episode 25. This is January 26th, 2015. And as always, I am Michael Nip, and I am here with my co-host, Drewby.
You hit the button. You hit the button. You started the show.
We're live on the internet now.
We started the show. Ooh, I can take pictures. Take picture. Aha! That's one of the show notes.
I can view photos now. I don't know if they'll show up in the video or anything. No. Wait. No. But I can see a picture of myself now. Good. I like it.
There you go. We learned something new today on this episode of hashtag.
Now I don't know how to get rid of that stupid panel, and it's taking up most of my screen.
Most of your screen, you've got like a 27-inch monitor.
I know, but I've got the screens all weird. Heck darn it, Drewby. There's only, I have to take a photo. Smile. Smile. There, got it.
There we go.
Now we have two photos, and I don't know how to get rid of this. Oh, there we go. It's gone. Now, we can commence with the show.
It's still on mine.
I just clicked the camera button, and it went away.
Well, anyway. Aha! There we go.
How's it going, Internet? In fact, you know what? Nobody on the Internet will even know that the show is live because I haven't posted this on any Facebooks or anything. That's how prepared I am. We're live and no one knows it.
Nobody knows
uses
here.
Google Plus. Oh, I can't post under my wife's profile. Everyone, this is behind the scenes. So every time I try to post links to the show, I end up almost posting them on my wife's Facebook like every single week because she's always logged onto my computer. So I have to log into my own Facebook.
It's tough. It's tough.
Post a link. Say something like, "We're live here right now," and put a link, and then say like, "Join us in the chat." Here, join us in the chat. Then I have to find the chat link.
That's really catchy.
Because I never remember it. Yeah.
Actually, isn't catchy the name of the chat?
Chatsy is the name of the chat. I tag Andrew in it, even though he never shares my stuff.
You know what? You posted something on my shirt today.
And then, boom, I posted it.
And I got a notification. Oh, wow. I got like an HTML thing. Wait! No, this is not where I was trying to click. Let's go here and then share, even though I don't know actually how many people are going to pay attention to this. Share link. This was successfully posted to your timeline. Thanks, Facebook.
Nice. And now the show is officially live. Now we're really going.
Now,
how's it going, man?
It's going. Been a little bit more active recently. My body is probably catching up a little bit or trying to get in. I'm not doing too bad. Physically not as sore.
So let's catch people up. So last week I had bought a skateboard and I was trying to convince Drewby to do so. He did so that night, I believe. So now we are both working our way towards pro skaterdom.
Well, there should be a something to measure, a standard a goal that we're trying to because you can't just say measure pro skaterdom. There's like what degree of professional skateboarding do we need to reach, and that's what we need to determine. Now, this has already been determined that for me to be a professional skateboarder, all I need to do is make money at this. So we've already got two people
pay to watch you skate. You need a sponsor.
Okay, so two people have already confirmed that they would pay to watch me skateboard. So I just tell a bunch of people, hey, this is happening. Come down to the park. You can watch me try to jump or grind this rail, and get some people to come line up and watch me. So I mean, and as soon as I get that, boom, I've hit professional. But the goal, I think, of what you're implying, that's not what you're trying to do. You're as more of trying to perhaps just be able to do some tricks maybe do some navigation on the board, because that's what I would like to do is just kind of navigate as a goal, just to be able to ride the skateboard around and so forth. Maybe jump a curb.
Oh my goodness. All right, so on an unrelated note, after we were done skateboarding tonight, I came home and decided to make myself some burgers, which I use ghost peppers, and I also put pepper on fried eggs, which I like to eat with my burgers. And I inhaled something funny, man, because I am all sneezy. I had to take a shower. I was hoping I'd be able to clear out my nose before the show, but it did not happen. I'm all about the sneezes and like I'm gonna be so emotional this episode.
What's emotional, Mikey? Like,
just crying all the time
for just no apparent reason.
Just imagine my mother. That's what I'd be like. My mother's a crier. Okay. I feel spiciness in my mouth, so if you just hear drinking noises, I'm trying to mute myself and stuff, but we'll see. Man.
You should down an Arnold Palmer for this is what I drink. I like it.
I just got water. I'm trying to lose that weight. Still
Water's
working on it. Still doing well.
Water's good too. I heard you lost 13 pounds.
I've lost 13 pounds since my initial goal. So I feel like that's really good for 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Since your starting weight, you've lost 13 pounds since your starting weight.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Initial goal.
Oh, then yes. I am nowhere near my initial goal. I need to lose like 60 pounds to be near my initial goal.
Holy crap, man.
So I am 1/6 of the way done.
All right. It's going to happen. Is it going to happen this time? You've done multiple diets before. Are you feeling...
I got down to 180 before. Right now my goal is 170. Feel like... I don't know. I'm feeling good about this time because I don't feel like I'm having to alter my lifestyle to a point where I am extremely uncomfortable or depressed. I'm just kind of eating healthier and, not snacking as much, and I'm not necessarily missing a ton right now. So I feel like if I can keep my eating habits to the point where I'm not like super depressed by the fact that I'm just like super limited on everything, then I think it won't be as hard for me to keep up that lifestyle since I'm not actively sad about it all the time.
Okay. Well,
like I said, I just ate 2 cheeseburgers, so I didn't have buns, so there's that. But still,
I came home after work today. You and I went over and we were kind of riding our boards, in the day while we kind of had some light. And after I got home, I grilled 3 burgers and ate them.
Nice.
So
burgers are good, man.
What
do you season them with?
I use the Famous Dave seasoning, the steak and burger seasoning that you kind of tipped me off to. I like it. What I probably should do at some point is start experimenting with different seasoning. Maybe go away from the Famous Dave's. Maybe get into another seasoning. I tried Masterpiece BBQ. It doesn't. I don't think it adds a lot of flavor. I like this one better. So. I like the Famous Dave's steak and burger. I like better, so I need to expand my horizons a little bit.
I recommend ghost peppers.
I actually had ghost peppers. A story. I came over to your place once, and you were grilling burgers, and you put two of them had that kind of ghost pepper flakes on two of the burgers, and then the other 2 were not, and the 2 that did not have the flakes were mine. And you lost track of which ones had the ghost
Once
peppers.
I put the cheese on, there's no telling what's under there. It's like the cup game where you put something under the cup, you mix them all up. I don't know where it is. I'm not trying to trick anyone. I don't know.
And so you pull them out or whatever, and you're just like, I don't know what these are. We tried to figure it out. We couldn't really tell. We smelled them. We couldn't tell. And so you being the host, you let me choose. I just choose 2 burgers or whatever, and one of them was not, and one of them was. It had ghost pepper flakes on it, and I think you ended up finishing that burger. I got through most of that burger, but I didn't finish it. So
I like it. I like spicy. I like the fried egg spicy combo.
I'm starting to understand a little bit, just to grasp the concept of spicy. Oh, this increases my enjoyment. I can kind of understand it a little bit more than I used to as I've but I don't like it. Like, it's not my preference. Although I'm not as opposed to it or as in the dark perhaps as I used to be as why people would like that experience, because I mean, like, you've tried. It's not really something that you can explain. It's just you like it. You think it increases.
You were coming from the perspective of hating spicy food so much you didn't understand why anyone would ever want it ever. The Dan Reichert perspective.
Dude, low blow.
I'm sorry. That was a little mean, a little harsh.
It's fun, dude.
We should hug it out. Virtual hug it out.
Just compare.
It wouldn't be the first time we've used the Dan Reichert insult before.
I don't
For those
think
of the uninitiated, our sister site Giant Bomb hired a person named Dan Reichert, who is probably one of the most naive adult human beings I've ever heard speak in my life. Like, he is completely unaware to any opinion beyond his own, to the point of he's not necessarily a jerk about it. He's just that kind of incompetent about things, and it's a little sad, but also sometimes funny.
He likes different things like wrestling, and you hear these stories that come out of his life that just like, dude, like, what the heck? And so anyway,
he heard once that it was healthier to eat only the egg whites, so he cracked an egg, dumped the entirety of the egg, and tried cooking the shells, thinking that they would at some point liquefy and be edible.
Yeah,
that's Dan Reichert.
Yeah, Dan Reichert, ladies and gentlemen. So
skateboarding. You're gonna be the next Tony Hawk. You just wanna. You said you're just content with being able to go from point A to point B.
Well, if I did say that, I probably would be content. That's a reasonable goal right now. Is just to be able to kind of navigate, to start and to stop, to maybe get up on a curb, and just to kind of look cool without actually doing this stuff that awesome. And then if I can get my navigation and my mobility down, then perhaps I can start, start grinding the rails, or maybe jumping off of a ramp or something.
You're trying to build up your street cred for the ladies. You fly honeys, as it were.
Fly. Did you say fly honeys?
Fly honeys, as it were.
Okay.
Have you never heard the expression "fly honeys"?
That doesn't.
Welcome to 1990.
We are trying to be more punk. So. Actually, is punk more the last decade than the 1990s?
Punk started in like the 70s, maybe the 60s. I don't know.
What's a 60s?
What do I know about music? I just have a music podcast and listen to it all the time. It's not like I know anything about punk music.
History of the punk.
History of the punk. Why did you Google the extra "the"? Are you like some 40-year-old woman?
It's just history of the punk, I think is what I found an article, History of the Punk Subculture. Since emerging in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia in the mid-1970s, the punk culture has spread across the globe. All right, so we're mid-70s.
So my initial guess was correct.
Yeah.
Man. Nice.
Wikipedia, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of Wikipedia, if you missed it last week, if you only watched the YouTube version of this podcast, you would have missed it because it was only in the audio version. We got to go on a fun little adventure studying income tax and the bills, the amendments of the Constitution that allow for that to happen, and then we also announced our presidential campaign.
Nip Droobs for 2016? Yes.
I don't know. I feel like 2012 was an election, so 2016 sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think it's 2016. We need a campaign slogan.
Income tax. Well, basically our entire platform is just based on taking away income tax. So, I don't know. We'll have to... If you can think of a good campaign slogan for a candidate that just wants to get rid of income tax, email us at theculturemypeople@gmail.com.
There you go. That was probably I wasn't expecting that segment. We just kind of finished, and we had gotten not tax returns. We got W-2s from our works or whatever. We were talking about it, and you just kind of said, "Yeah, I'm just recording this, by the way." that was.
I feel like we're like the worst skaters ever. We both have like consistent, career type 9-to-5 jobs that we've held down for good amounts of time considering our age. We have no plans to like rip our own selves out of the like normal business structure and become tattooed, pierced, crazy people or anything.
What's our first step? If we're on our way down this subculture of punk, do we need to just like quit our jobs, throw the birds, and say screw the man, or do we need to start?
It's willingness to urinate on anything. That's the first step.
Man, this is gonna be rough. I don't know.
Like just being willing to you're just walking outside and you wreck your board and willingness to urinate on your board. That's the first step to becoming a punk, I feel.
But I don't want to that's like my board is a part of me. Why would I want to just like urinate all over myself?
I've heard that urination on yourself can help jellyfish stings. I heard Shia LaBeouf try that on a penguin movie.
Oh, yes, Surf's Up.
Yep, that's the name.
Yep, that movie was a thing. Oh,
John Heater, Shia LaBeouf.
It was not a jelly. It was a sea urchin that he stepped on, and he had a quill in his foot, and so the lifeguard drags him off to this dude in the jungle or in the woods, and the guy's like, "All right, let me fix this," and he just pees on the foot.
Penguin pee is magical healing properties.
It's the voodoo man.
Speaking of Jamaican things, I had a podcast this last week about a reggae album you can check out if you want to. That was fun, studying up on Rastafari culture.
The 8-Year Affair by Protege. I listened to
I welcome you to listen to our podcast, Mon.
That was not. It was a little different reggae, I guess, because some of the reggae that I've been exposed to is listening to The Joint on Sirius XM, which is a reggae station.
As you might assume with a name like The Joint.
Was that out? That was a lighter reggae, because it didn't.
Well, it's just modern, so it was very hybridized with hip hop, which is probably why it sounded a little different.
I didn't necessarily mind it as I've kind of minded other reggae. Like there's the song that you guys kind of discovered over Christmas break that talks about Zion, and you guys. It's kind of an inside joke with you guys. I tried to listen to that song, and I liked the style of music, the style of reggae that was being presented in the 8-Year Affair. I thought was better than. At least I preferred it more than the style of reggae that was presented in the one song that I forgot. I don't even remember what that song was called.
It's Holy Mount Zion or something.
Something. Okay. Okay.
But Zion is a holy place. Sin cannot enter there.
I didn't. So yeah, listening to that episode, I learned a little bit about Rastafari culture, and it's different. I didn't realize kind of the depth or the background that Jamaicans or reggae artists were kind of coming from. So that kind of added a little perspective to my white American heritage.
It's just so weird that all of their subculture is mixed with Judaism. So you recognize a lot of things, but they're not the same things that you're thinking about when you're hearing it.
It's odd that why what about Judaism, why do they pull from that? Like, I mean, if they're
It's one of the oldest. It is. If
yes.
we're going by our worldview, it is the oldest religion that has existed.
Okay, but you've got I mean, if they're you mentioned like it's a descendant of like Ethiopian and Judaism. Um, so I mean, are they just descendants of Ethiopian Christians that just kind of perverted their beliefs into what this is? I mean, is that I guess it's kind of odd. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's some kind of like post. I mean, so much of their lifestyle is heavily influenced by smoking weed that it could be pulled from so many different sources and like misstrewn. That's not even a word. Like torn apart so many ways and pulled from so many different places that it could have come from anywhere. Like a large portion of their culture is smoking weed. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to have a logical descent from point A to point B, if we're thinking about it like that.
If you're listening to the show, though, you should go check it out. They've 2 episodes so far. The first one, David Bowie by David Bowie, where you guys covered David Bowie's first album, and then this you covered The Year Fair. Now you mentioned on the show you're going to be covering a Pink Floyd album next week.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. We're going to be actually, I just was conversing with Blake, my co-host on the show. We may have weird issues with getting an episode out this week just because he's going to be out of town. So we'll see. Okay. But we're breaking that album up into 2 pieces because I did not realize that it is like 26 tracks. It's like 2 hours or something. Like it's a long album. So we're going to break it into part 1 and part 2. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I feel like it's something I may like on a normal listening level and not just on an intellectual or like fascinating level. So we'll see what I think about that. I think that'll be fun.
If you're interested in maybe trying different types of music or hearing Michael and Blake's perspective on some of these different albums that are kind of not in the mainstream, check out these. Michael just totally like dropped his headphones. He has no idea what I'm saying.
I am not sure how that happened. The thing about headphones is that they stick to your head. Mine just flew off willy-nilly.
But check out garbage. What is it? You think you know music?
I can't know music. I'll know music.
There you go. Check it out. It's on theculturemanpeople.com. 2 episodes up, and it's on the RSS feed. So I mean, if
it is, yes,
you can do that. Is it on iTunes?
Yes, it is.
Okay, there you go. So, folks, check that out.
So, what have you been doing, man? You been watching TV? I'm assuming.
Yeah. One thing I didn't really mention last week when we did the show, I guess some of the kind of TV shows I've been watching, I kind of thought about that afterwards. But yeah, I've been watching some TV. Arrow has come and Flash have started up after the mid-season break. So those shows are starting up again, and I'm continuing to follow those. I like The Flash. Probably. See, it's kind of odd for me because some of the stuff and the story that's going on in Arrow is like they've had 3 seasons to develop some of this stuff, so they can do maybe some more crazier stuff. But I feel like the presentation of The Flash is just better. I hesitate to say this, but I think I might like The Flash better than Arrow.
I would believe it knowing what I know about Season 3 of Arrow.
You should still try and watch it.
So, I don't know. Do we want to go on this rabbit trail? Why I hate Arrow now?
Well, you haven't really seen Season 3 yet, so the only things that you'd be acting up that you would is just what you've heard of what me and your brother have talked about.
There are things that are my relationship with Arrow is I saw it. I saw the first season. Nobody else watched it with me. I told Drewby to watch it. He watched it. I think the first season of Arrow is all right.
Well, I watched Arrow like season 1, and then I like stopped, and then I got back on that bandwagon, and I kind of finished season 1, and I liked it, and then I like bought season 2 or something like that.
Yeah, you like chain watched season 2, which you really liked. and then you kept current or whatever. I did not. I waited to watch season 2 until it was on Netflix, and then I chain watched it in like a week or two. I very much enjoyed season 2 of Arrow, and I liked the directions that it was kind of taking. And then I was reading Twitter one day and saw a spoiler from Drewby saw my reaction as I was scrolling through Twitter at work on a random day, and then a picture appeared that happened to be a spoiler for something that I did not realize was happening in season 3, and my mouth dropped, and I stared at the screen, and Drewby just starts giggling. He's like, "Oh, you didn't know?" And I was just like, "No, why?" And now I've decided that I hate Arrow because I accurately predicted another plot point that was happening also in season 3, which I hate just as much as, maybe not as much. No, I hate them both equally. I hate both of the things that I figured out about Arrow season 3. So I will probably try to watch it, but man, I do not. I was so hyped up after season 2 and season 3. Knowing what I know, I am so sad and angry at the things that are happening.
I was just kind of working. You and I work in the same room some of the time, and I was just kind of working, and I just hear you just go like, "Oh!" And then I turn around and I see the picture that you were looking at. Oh.
It was it was like the amount of, I have not felt that kind of disappointment in a TV show in like recent, maybe like seeing the 5th season of Community or the 4th season of Community, but that was like more of a slow burn. Like watching Community, where it was like slowly like, oh yeah, this isn't really that good anymore. Whereas this was just one single photo where I went, oh man, everything I liked about this show is now gone in garbage. And then I just turned to Drew and I'm like, oh, what, is this gonna happen too? And he's like, oh, you already know? I'm like, for real? Like, really? Why? That was my reaction. But I've not seen The Flash. I'm interested in seeing The Flash. I liked the little bit of the Flash character that I saw in season 2 of Arrow. So I hope that show stays good.
People talking about that show. Lamar Wilson, he is a YouTube personality. I've heard he's watched the show. He likes it. I don't know that I've heard someone say that they don't like that show. But then again, like these same, I can't really say that I've heard people say bad about Arrow though either. But I think The Flash is just a better show. Like they've got better actors behind their show this time. You know, they've raised some money. They've had 2 seasons of Arrow, and I guess though that Flash did get approved, but they probably got some more money. They could get some better actors. We know when you're just trying to pump out a pilot for Arrow, and you're just like, we got to get these different people in or whatever to do the show. You think about one of the best actors in Arrow, John Barrowman, who plays Malcolm Merlyn. He played Captain Jack in Doctor Who. One of the best actors, and he didn't even come in season 1 until like I think maybe about midway through for season 1, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But like he wasn't. I don't know if he was originally planned. They didn't get the acting talent that they perhaps needed to sustain the show for as long as they would perhaps like. Just because the acting it hurts it.
You briefly mentioned that you had heard no one say anything negative about Arrow. Would you like to hear people say some negative things about Arrow? Namely one. You're on a phone call with them right now?
That's a true statement.
I don't need to do that right now. I can do that. I will make a TV show mini-sode where I talk about how much I hate where Arrow is going. So you watched Arrow, you watched Flash?
Flash. Agent Carter has started.
Are you still watching that? Did you watch the next episodes?
I've watched. There have been 3 episodes released, and I've watched all 3 of them. I like the show. Excuse me. I don't think it's as good as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If I were to pick, all right. So when I was at the beginning, the first half of the kind of this TV season, with shows starting in the fall, I was watching Arrow, Flash, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of Shield was a show that I watched a fair amount of, but then I got burnt out. I just basically realized that the show was garbage, and I stopped watching.
It was a wise decision.
The show was garbage, and then season 2, and then I didn't finish the first season. Season 2 comes out, and I hear that it's good or whatever, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And so some people at work, I said, just tell me what happens at the end of season 1, all right? And it sounds like, and then so they explain everything, and I started following season 2. Season 2 of Agents of Shield, I think it's good. I think it's better production quality than both Flash and Arrow. It is an ABC show. It is like being run by Marvel and Disney, so they've got some money behind it. I think Josh Whedon is involved in writing for this show, and the story and kind of the direction they were taking, it was just I think it was good, and it was interesting. They took one of the characters that I kind of hated in the first season, and they made her a likable character, for, like someone that I could like get behind and like not just hate. So I really like Agents of Shield, probably better than Arrow and Flash. But with Agent Carter coming out now, they're taking a break from Agents of Shield, and they're just doing this little like 8-episode miniseries of Agent Carter. And I like it. It's a friend, I think it was one of the people I work with, who's watching the show. She would talk about how, because it's based in the period it is, they can't rely on like computers or technology to solve their problems. It's a lot kind of more detective work. I don't know if that's why I like it. It's a Marvel show that I just kind of think is fine. So I'm watching that, and need Agent of Shield to come back. The way they ended it was crazy. Let's see what.
I think Agent Carter is a baby show for babies and feminists.
You and I kind of talked a little bit about this, and the difference in kind of the TV shows that we watch is the different levels of which we are willing to suspend our disbelief. And when it comes to TV or movies, I think I'm willing to suspend my disbelief a lot more than you are, and that's why I kind of can enjoy more of these shows. If you hate it, Agent of Carter just because it's kind of a feminist show, I think it is, but it's not annoying.
I don't hate it just because it's a feminist show. I don't like Agent Carter because I don't think its plot is very interesting. And then it does annoy me that it's so heavy-handed with its feminine. It's not even trying to be subtle. It's just super heavy-handed, which I think I could overlook if I felt like anything happened in that pilot that was kind of worthwhile. But I feel like it was just a very, very mediocre kind of plot that was happening. Like, there was nothing at the end of the show that made me go like, hey, I need to see the 3rd episode of this. Whereas even something like Arrow, which I obviously have a lot of problems with, I was like, okay, there's some things going on here. I like this.
Okay, I can kind of see that. It's only got 8 episodes. The plot isn't. I mean, here's the plot. Howard Stark had a bunch of stuff stolen, and they've got to go find it and get it all back. I mean, that's kind of like that's like what happened. That's like the story of Donkey Kong 64. Like, someone came and stole DK's golden bananas, and now you've got to go and get them all back.
My golden bananas!
So
only instead of golden bananas just being used as trophies, they're using Stark's golden bananas to sell in the black market to terrorists.
They are. Trust me, that's not what they're using Stark's golden bananas for.
That's what I don't know the proper way to use Stark's golden banana, but I'm sure they're using it improperly.
So, Agents of Shield is going. I'm watching. I'm still following Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Not much has really changed.
Oh dang! I completely forgot about that show.
Yeah, that
like 100%.
It still exists. You should watch it. But there's this other show that I've been watching called Forever that I kind of picked up on a whim. I was like, oh, this is new or whatever. It's I wanna be forever young. And
does it have that song in it?
No, it doesn't. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know if I've heard it though. But it's a show. It's a crime show. It's just a detective show where you've got someone with Sherlock like observation abilities going around and solving crimes. Except he's kind of gotten his abilities because he's just super old, and he's kind of just been around the block a few times. He kind of knows what's up. So he knows all these different facts about different things, and he's able to solve these crimes. He's a medical examiner in New York City. The thing to the show is he's really old. He was defending a slave on a ship, and then he got shot and thrown overboard, and somehow he survived. And he was dead, but he came back to life, and he doesn't know why this happened. He doesn't know why he can die and come back to life.
Mirakuru.
It's not Mirakuru. He's still sane. But
Better Mirakuru.
the Mirakuru 2.0. It's in beta now. This is beta Mirakuru. It was an alpha before.
Beta.
Beta Kuru.
No. All right. You think it's good?
I like it. One of the reasons I like it is because you've got some of these crime shows. They've got kind of overhanded on the sexualness. They're overly sexualized. It's overly sexualized.
The characters?
Not necessarily the characters, but they're not afraid to oh yeah, this couple, yeah, he really likes her, so they're just gonna go sleep together, and so then it shows them just. There's not a lot of promiscuity in the show. I'd say very little for a modern show, and it's kind of nice to be able to kind of watch a show and there's not hardly any in the show.
Were you complimenting it for not being overt about that, or were you saying that it? Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm saying it doesn't have it, and it's nice that it doesn't have it. It's just a show. He's just a kind of a funny. It's just some funny jokes in there, just some wit, banter. Watching the characters interact with each other, and they're not trying to sleep with each other like every second of every day.
All right. So here's a question: when, as Americans, are we going to be tired of the Sherlock trope, super observant detective, normal person stereotype? Like this guy, like Psych, like Monk, like Sherlock.
I think
that has become a cliche at this point, I think.
I kind of think that one of the reasons I like this, another one of the reasons is because of the character they have playing him. It is the same gentleman who played Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movies. I cannot think of the actor's name. But that is who they have playing it, and so he's just kind of a likable, not really obnoxious. He's just a guy who's just trying to figure this stuff out, and he's just helping people solve crimes. He's a likable guy. He's a good guy. You want him to succeed and to win. Sherlock is not necessarily you don't see him in the same light. Yes, he's the good guy, but he's very.
What about Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock?
I wasn't as big of a fan of those movies as a lot of people were. I thought
the second one was good. I thought the first one was kind of meh.
I saw the second one once. I guess I thought it was good when I watched it, but I really don't have much of a desire to see it again. It was just so. When we're gonna get tired of that, I don't know. Let's see how many we got. We got Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock movies, which there hasn't been a Sherlock movie in a couple of years now. There might be a third one coming. I don't remember. We've got Sherlock BBC, and we've got Forever. We'll throw that in this mix. So there's 3 examples right there. Do you think that that's oversaturating? Like you've just got these are just 3 separate mediums, or can you think of another example?
Psych and Monk were both the same thing. They just ended. But I mean, if you basically pick any detective show, so let's see, Matlock, Diagnosis Murder. I mean, that's kind of Dale Cooper's character from Twin Peaks.
Oh,
like basically any detective show, you're gonna have this one dude that's just so observant that he can see something where like everybody else can't see it. I think that is a trope.
Mm-hmm. Okay. they're still making shows like it. I mean, Psych and Monk did just die. Oh well, Psych did. Monk has been dead for a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think it'll be maybe a couple more years probably before something like this, because I mean I wouldn't say that I'm sick of it. It's probably just more of a trope now. I don't know if I'm actually sick of it. I just reckon it's at what point do you get sick of a trope? Like, I don't know the answer to that question. It's just a thing that continues on, and I don't hear people complaining really about it. I mean, maybe, but I've
been watching this show called Parks and Recreation.
Yeah,
You ever heard of it?
I should probably catch up with that. I have heard of it.
First couple episodes, they're kind of like the definition of meh. But I want to say there's 5 episodes out right now. The most recent episode that they had was not necessarily super funny. There's some funny parts in it, but it was very endearing. Like, if you have been watching the show throughout the all the seasons and you like the characters, it's a sweet episode, and I enjoyed it on that level. I feel like if this is the type of show that it is now, it's probably okay that it's the last season. It's not going to go full Community and completely become utter poop. It's just going to, like, you go up, you got to peak, and then, like, you stop when you're just starting to go downhill, as opposed to crashing and burning uber hard. And I feel like that's an okay time to end a show. But I'm enjoying that so far. I have now. Go ahead.
Do you think they ended the show too late? Like, they should have called it quits on the last season?
At this point of the season, I think it would have been okay to call it quits on the last season. But they're not done with the season yet, so we'll see. Okay. I feel like there's nothing that's been said in this season that was necessary. The only weird thing that's kind of funny that they're kind of doing that's new is, because it's 3 years in the future, they're making past jokes about things that haven't really happened, but could happen, I suppose. And I can't think of any examples, but they'll, like, talk about some random artist having a best-selling album where you're like, wait, that, and you're like, oh, that didn't happen. Like, that's the future. It's super weird, and it kind of catches you off guard. And some of those jokes are a little funny, but I don't know. I've now watched the entirety of everything that is out of 19 Kids and Counting. I'm fully caught up on that show live.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I like the way that show is. I like the way that show feels. It's good.
How many seasons are there?
14.
And how many episodes?
I suppose. It varies between, like, I don't know, 15 and 20-ish, probably. I actually haven't seen them all. Now that I think about it, I don't think I started watching it with my wife until season maybe 8 or 9. Okay. My wife caught me up to that point, but I have now seen at least the last 5 seasons for sure, because I own them. I bought them, and I watched them with my wife.
Is there anything... I mean, it's just a reality show about them just living their lives, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's a good show to watch while doing stuff. Sometimes I don't watch... sometimes I don't do stuff when I watch it, but sometimes I do. I don't feel terrible either way. I like it.
There you go. Thank you, kids. Have they renamed the show? Like, did it used to be called, like, 18 Kids and Counting?
Yes.
Okay.
It was originally a special. It was originally some kind of special, and they only had maybe 17 or 16 kids. And they did rename the show as it went, so the number of kids was accurate. At this point, the mom basically is old enough that she's not going to have any more kids. However, the kids are now having kids, so the oldest has either 4 now or is about to have a 4th child. And then there's at least one other one on the way from another one of the kids.
All right. The show must go on.
I know their names, but I don't know how much people care. So our target audience, 19 Kids and Counting, does not match up a ton with our target nerd audience, evidently. Survey says that
Nope.
the average nerd doesn't give any craps about that show, but I do. I like it. It's good.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I watched on TV, I think.
Okay.
You play any video games?
Have I played video? I don't think I've played any video games since last week.
Not even like Crossy Road?
Maybe like a match of Crossy Road or something. A couple matches. I haven't really played my Vita or 3DS at all, and I hardly picked up my PS4. I might have done some like strikes. Actually, I think I might have run a couple strikes last week on Destiny. The Destiny saga continues.
Still like Destiny 2015.
There's your update. There's your update on Destiny. But
I found this console in my house. It's called a Wii U.
Oh,
You may have heard of it. Not many people know what it is.
I haven't really heard of it.
Sales numbers.
Mm-mm.
So I have one, and I realized I had Wind Waker, and I said I played it last week. Well, I played some more this week, and I like it.
Okay.
Wind Waker is an extremely good-looking game, and we talked about last week the art styles, the cel-shaded, cartoony thing that I think now that they've HDified it holds up really well. And so I played some more of that game. Zelda games are easier than I remember when I was a kid, and I haven't played as many video games as I have now.
Are you whizzing through this game? Is it actually pretty easy?
I'm only a couple dungeons in, but yeah, I have not actually had to think about anything. It's like, oh, I bet I can do this. Like at one point, there was one thing where I was like, I wonder how I get over there. Oh, I bet I just do this, and then that was it. So I don't know if I don't know if that game is actually easy for a Zelda game, or if I've just played enough Zelda games, enough video games that it's not, But the nice thing about the Wii U is that I can sit in my bed and play it. Like I was playing it while we watched the end of 19 Kids and Counting. Like I can, because it's got this handheld tablet, it's like I'm playing a full console game on a handheld, and it works well because it's not some insane, like, you can kind of play remote play games on your Vita, but I feel like that experience is not very positive for the majority of games that are on the PS4. But the Wii U playing Zelda it works very well, and I'm happy with that. I also, for like $12, I got the Final Fantasy X HD remake on the Vita, and so I want to play. I have never played a Final Fantasy game to completion. I have played the beginning of Final Fantasy VII multiple times, and I probably put like 12 hours into Final Fantasy XIII, but I have never fully completed a Final Fantasy game, and I would like to say I have at least beat one of them.
Okay.
Have you played 10, right? Some of it.
I played 10. I think I did not beat it. Imagine that. But that was in the time when I was beating games. I had that I played it on the PS2. And I think a lot of it might have been over my head at the time, but Final Fantasy games aren't really my type of thing. I think I was listening to some people talk about it. I think it was Giant Bomb. They're talking about it, and they said like the thing that made one of the things that made that game was so impressive about that game was the fact that it had voice acting. And coming from an era where it's like voice acting is just in games, that's just a thing, or that it was one of the I think it was the first Final Fantasy game to have voice acting, and
it was still one of the first games to have voice acting for like that many cutscenes as well.
So it was just, if that's your big draw to that game, then that wasn't really going to be a big thing for me. The story, what I remember is pretty straightforward. There's nothing really remarkable about that game in my opinion, but I didn't beat it. So I think what a lot of people liked about that game was the relationship, the story developed between Tidus and Suna. I don't remember the girl's name, but it was the kind of the relationship. And then I heard about Final Fantasy X2, which is the sequel, and then it's like, oh, they did that? So
cool.
Wait till you get to learn about how to play underwater volleyball. I can't remember what's that called. What's that sport called?
It is called. It is called.
I don't.
It starts with a B. Ball?
Bari ball.
No, Bari Ball is no, not Bari Ball. It's in Kingdom Hearts. I used to know what it was called because there's one dude that throws them at you in Kingdom Hearts. Does it start with a B?
Yes, I'm looking at it.
It's not Bocce Ball, even though it reminds me of Bocce Ball.
I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Or it would have taken me a while. Blitzball.
Blitzball, dang it. Yeah, I should have remembered that. Yeah, dude, here's Final Fantasy games, I think, come from an era where people believed that length equaled quality. So sometimes they would just add stuff to games just to make them longer because that seemed to be a better value proposition for people. And I don't know if I think in 2015 we've reached a point where that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we'll say. We don't have to go into it deep.
Okay.
It's video games, man. We haven't played any 2015 video games because there's hardly any yet.
No.
But this week, speaking of which, tomorrow there's a game that's called Grim Fandango, which is a re-release of one of the best adventure games of all time critically. And I think I'm going to try to play through that with my wife if possible. So I'll probably be talking about that a little bit next week.
Okay.
I'm excited. Super excited. Tim Schafer joint. I like Tim Schafer.
Mm.
So...
he's the same guy who did the other one that you really liked last year, Broken Age.
Broken Age. Yep. Broken Age. So, yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. That game is held in high esteem by many people, and I'm hoping that it holds up, and I'm excited to try it on a PS4. So
I've played a Tim Schafer game before.
Stacking?
Yes.
I don't think that's Tim Schafer. That's his studio, but I don't believe he worked on the project.
Okay.
Did you play Costume Quest?
I did not.
That was him.
I did not. I played.
Did you play? I'm sure you didn't play. Those are old.
I don't know if I've ever played a Tim Schafer game then. If the stacking wasn't one of his projects then probably not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't actually. Like, obviously it was Double Fine, but I don't think that was him. I think that was somebody else. They do the thing internally where they kind of do a game jam just to themselves, and then the best ideas, if they're able to get funding, Tim Schafer just kind of lets them make their own game. So
that's kind of cool.
That's how. Yeah, well, that's how Massive Chalice is being made right now by Brad Muir. He was able to get it. Like, he had the idea for Massive Chalice, which is, like an XCOM meets the newest Fire Emblem, and he was able to get a Kickstarter going, and he's making that game. Speaking of which, I have the early access version of that game because I was in the Kickstarter, but I haven't actually played it. I've seen it played, and it looks fun. It doesn't look as fun as what I'm very excited for coming out this year, which is the sequel to Banner Saga 2. I think that could be really good.
Is that this year?
Banner Saga 2 is supposed to be this year, yes.
Hasn't that already gotten pushed back?
I don't think so.
Banner Saga 2. I want to say that guy has already gotten pushed back once.
We ain't got no place to go. Did you find it?
Just a thing from Patrick Klepek in December saying that Banner Saga 2 is coming next year, which is this year. So yeah,
video games.
Yeah, that's about it for video games. I think it's been quiet on the news front too.
Yeah, for the most part, nothing
PAX
crazy.
South
PAX.
happened.
I didn't see anything about PAX South though.
I didn't see much come out of that. Yeah, skateboarding has kind of been just a big thing between you and me this last week, at least on specifically on Saturday.
Skateboarding, man, is like the only thing. It's the only thing between you and it's the only way we can communicate on a bro-to-bro level.
It's how we talk or share our feelings with the world.
We were able to somewhat somewhat as a duo build a skateboarding playlist, which I've called Boardin, which you can find on my Spotify account. Do you have a favorite song from that playlist? It's like 2 hours long now. 2.5 hours long.
I only listened to it a little bit, and that was when I got my board in the mail on Friday. Before I had to be somewhere at 6, but I was able to ride my board around. I got my first wipeout in, and I put my headphones in. I listened to that. I'm just gonna cruise through here.
It has one of your favorite songs on it. Remember the song "Fancy" from last year?
It's not one of my favorite songs. Although Uma Thurman is on that playlist. That's one of my new favorite songs.
Uma Thurman? It's a good song. It's on my 2015 playlist.
Yeah. Let's see. You added Party Rock Anthem on my request. We got that one's on there. This song. I need to listen to the song tomorrow.
Dude, I haven't heard that song in so long. It brings back the weirdest memories.
Oh, how many hits on YouTube do you think it has?
I don't know.
I think we talked about this recently, but I'm going to look it up.
So, since we're skateboarding, of course, we had to include something from the Extreme Days soundtrack.
Yes.
Woke up today in the crazy state of mind. Had the revelation while I'm waiting in line. Picture your face back across the screen.
Some PAX 217. Dude, that's a band I hadn't heard for so long.
I think PAX, not PAX. Yeah, PAX 217, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah.
Okay. I pointed. Yeah, was that was AM, wasn't it?
Yes.
Hmm.
Are you still looking for views?
No, I already found it. It's like 800 million. I thought that was small, but maybe it is actually only 800 million.
Something that I consider a modern classic. Skrillex's The Devil's Den.
You got your Demon Hunter on there, followed directly by your Hawk Nelson, because those are two bands that should be played right after each other.
There are two bands that I knew about at around the same time. Where is that Demon Hunter? Oh, here we go.
Check out voices.
Hold on, this is a better Demon Hunter song.
On the fire train, crawling through the dirt like years. Mama.
Listen, Demon, scare our listeners a little bit. Hey guys, wake up!
Wah!
I don't think it's just. Your yell is like a bird.
Should have just taken a screen cap.
One of my favorite songs. It's the good version, not the version about Kanye West's wiener. It's the real version of Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk.
Who sings the other? Kanye sings the other one.
Yes.
Who else would sing about Kanye's wiener other than Kanye?
Yeah, he would be the prime target. Oh yeah, this other Iggy song.
Pulled up looking picture perfect, baby.
I don't know. There's not a lot of hip hop on here, but there's some.
You like Iggy?
Iggy too biggie to be something. I don't remember the words. Yeah, I like some Iggy rap.
Okay. So doing that. Other than the board, and that's kind of not much has been happening. So maybe next week you should get another update on what's happening in the lives of the up and coming professional skateboarders.
Maybe next week we'll have a skate video to show you.
Keep an eye on the site for that.
Alright, so here we go. What should we use as our skate theme song? Should we use a pre-made song, or will that get us kicked off YouTube? Probably, I guess.
should probably do something of our own, but
I
there's
could
a
use
lot
this
better.
really obnoxious song that I made. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the part that's obnoxious. That wasn't it. Hold on. That wasn't obnoxious enough. I don't know if I can find a more obnoxious song.
We gotta find something that our parents will listen to and just be like, turn that disrespectful racket off.
I don't know. Let's see. We got like MXPX and crap.
There's no use in TV shows, radio, rodeo. Wanna get into the.
Or we can do something classic.
This speech is my recital. I think it's very vital
To rock a rhyme that's right on time.
Here we go.
TFK? Can you imagine yourself urinating on anything to this song? I get wicked! I get wicked. It's 8:32. You may believe that it's later than that. It's not.
It's not. No. Got Red Bull. Actually, I don't think I had. I might be out of it. No, I think I have one. I usually always have like at least one Red Bull on hand.
Nice. Dude, I've been trying to avoid caffeine. It makes me feel like the devil. Like, I get all jittery, and then, here's the real problem. Let's be honest here. The real problem was over the vacation, I drank a lot of caffeine, and I normally don't drink caffeine, but I got to the point where I got a lot of caffeine in me, and then I was having caffeine withdrawals when I stopped drinking a lot of caffeine, and they sucked so bad that I was like, you know what, I don't want to drink a lot of caffeine. Like, I'm going to save my caffeine for very specific occasions, because that was not fun in any way.
Well, so how long are you going to go without caffeine then?
I mean, if something comes up or whatever and I want to drink caffeine, I'm not going to, it's like I'm not avidly hardcore, like, I'll never drink caffeine again, but, generally speaking, I don't drink a lot of caffeine I don't love a lot of caffeine stuff anyway. Like, I don't usually drink coffee. My favorite soda is root beer, which is caffeine-free. So, I mean, it's not like it's a huge problem. I don't eat chocolate even, so it's not even that big of a problem for me.
Okay.
How much caffeine do you drink?
I mean, just what's kind of in sodas. I don't really get a lot of caffeine. I drink a lot of water. As far as sugar goes, I probably sugar snacks like candy or something is probably a bigger problem for me than actually caffeine is.
Nice.
So.
Anyway, Drewby, let's wrap this crap up. How
Okay.
can people get a hold of you outside of the show?
They can't.
It's good. You like to keep your life private. Anything you post on the internet is on the internet forever, so why would you ever post anything there?
I'm a closed door. I
In
don't
fact,
have windows.
you're not even a real person. I am talking to a computer. Drewby doesn't even exist. That's how private he is.
Spoilers.
Who's Drewby? How long can we keep dead air?
I don't know. It depends on how long you want to edit. How much you want to edit out.
It doesn't take very long to edit out dead air.
Oh, you can find me online, facebook.com/Drewby132, twitter.com/Drewby132. There's a link on my Twitter account to my Google Plus profile. You can check out funny stuff I post there, or share. I repost stuff on Google Plus. So, and yeah, and the email address, you can reach us. If you want to email me directly, if you want to, drewby132@gmail.com. You can reach me at that, if you want to. Or you can email the show, The Quotes from My People, @gmail.com. It's your choice.
Wait, did you give out your real Gmail?
No.
I was a pig touch. Oh, okay.
Well,
what did you say?
Drewby132. It's a dummy. It's not my primary email. It's like
okay.
It was kind of one of the things.
I was like super confused. I was like, did he just give his email out?
It's like one of the. It was one of those things where I was like, I wonder if that's available. I was like, oh yeah, it totally is. Let me just grab that. So I just created the account because Drewby132@gmail.com seems like something to have. No, that is not my primary email account, folks. But it is something that I'll know if you want to talk that. If you want to talk to me there, so.
My name is Michael Nip, MichaelKnipp. You can find me at twitter.com/MichaelNip and facebook.com/TheRealMichaelNip. Like Drewby said, you can get to both of us at theculturemypeople@gmail.com. You can find the audio version of this show on iTunes, also on BeyondPod, which doesn't sponsor us, but might as well because it's our favorite podcast app. We listen to a lot of podcasts, so that is our. I've tried, lots of different apps, and this is the one that I stuck with.
I like BeyondPod. It works, and I like the manageability that I have in it. The ability to download the podcasts to it, because you do stuff like, what's the other one called? Oh, it starts with an S. Sure, I think so. Stitcher.
Stitcher is the podcast app, yeah.
You can't. I don't know if you can download with that. I didn't like that one, but like BeyondPod is like manageable, and I think that it's even it's completely free now. Like it used to be that you could just get the app, and if you wanted some of the manageability, you just pay like a little whatever and get this pro key. I think the whole thing might be free now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so check that at BeyondPod out.
Okay, so for hashtag follow the conversation episode 25. This has been me, Michael Nip, and my co-host,
Drewby.
And Drewby's favorite song.
Garbage!